Hi guys, Blake here today with Lilley's Landing Resort and Marina on beautiful upper Lake Taneycomo. It is Wednesday, September the 15th, 4:24 in the afternoon. I am right below Fall Creek Marina. I'm going to work the bluff today. I am throwing a Signature Series 110+1 juvenile rainbow pattern. That is on 8-pound monofilament P-line. Is the brand name of that. We do not sell that in the shop, but you can get it at Bass Pro. I actually don't think we have any 8-pound line in the shop, but I could be wrong. So I'm gonna work this bluff all the way down. Starting to get a little bit of a shade line over there. They just started running the water about 30 minutes ago. They said they were supposed to turn it on at 3 and run 50 for an hour, and then 3 units for 2 hours, and then 1 unit for the last hour, but it seemed like they kind of waited until about 4 o'clock and then just cranked on 3 units all at once. So I came out here to try this today. A gentleman by the name of Travis Swift had some real good luck throwing jerkbaits down here below Fall Creek the other day. Caught some browns. Wanted to try my hand at it. It's been a while since I got out in the afternoon and with the water running and actually retrieved a jerkbait back. But I do know that it is a good way to find a big fish or a brown trout. It's a lot of work, but it can pay off. Ooh, that felt like a hit. Nothing officially on the first cast. Talked to Captain Brett Rader on my way up today. Said that the bite was a little slow, but they were catching them on black micro jigs. I believe that's what Tracy Frenzel was also using today. Brett told me he had talked to Tracy about that. I was off work today, so I didn't really, oh no. Fishing for squirrels already. I didn't get to talk to anybody else. There is a ton of moss in the water, and I mean just a metric ton. When we come out and retrieve these jerk baits, generally you find a bluff edge. Those big brown trout like to lay on those bluff edges, or on the other side in between the docks. Those are also places you'll find big trout laying. Oh man, there's a lot of moss in the water. But I always try to get as close to the edge as I can, and you really need big sporadic motions. If you're really trying to target a brown trout, they like that bait to keep getting away from them. If it pauses for even a little bit too long, they're usually, there's a brown right there. He chased it all the way to the boat. I pulled the bait out of the water, it hit the water again, and he grabbed it. Oh my goodness. And this is actually a stalker brown. I know they just stocked browns not too long ago. I'm really hoping I have a pair of pliers in here. These baits with 3 treble hooks will really get you. Come here, stop that. Hey, it's okay. It is okay. There we go. I really don't want to lose my position. Hit the spot lock button real quick. This is a good part of the bluff here. Still shaded. But yeah, I kept that bait moving that entire time, and he came all the way to the boat, waited for it to jump out of the water, or, you know, as I pulled it out of the water. I saw him coming, so I let it back down, and he smoked it. Alright, so yep, they just stocked the lake not too long ago. This is a beautiful little stocker brown. Lots of red dots on him. Come here. Got him. And get a picture of all those red dots. He's nothing but about 12 inches or so, but very aggressive. Okay, let's see if we can find his dad. Once again, if you're really interested in coming out here and trying to target a brown trout specifically. Oh, there's another one. A brown trout specifically, or big rainbow, or big brown, and you've got good running water, I really think this is the way to do it. Oh my goodness. I think I've got a bigger brown trout on here. It looked like a brown at least. Trying to keep him down. Oh yeah. In the net. Spot lock again. The shaded bank seems to be pretty good. Oxygen levels should be going up as this water comes on, but I'm going to try to keep him down in the water as much as I possibly can here. It's not impossible to catch these fish on these jerk baits like this when the water's off, but you have to really, I mean really, just work the tar out of the bait. I'm gonna have to worry about getting that jerk bait off here in a second. Get this guy up for the camera. It's a little bigger. Might not go a full 20, but another just beautiful brown trout. Let's see, about 19. Getting back to the water. There you go, buddy. Okay, now the only unfun part about all this is taking a jerk bait with 3 size 6 treble hooks out of the net. Whew, them brown trout get me going. Get my heart rate all worked up. And sometimes this part right here can take a good amount of time, because you get one hook undone and then the other 2 fall in the net again. Okay. Make sure everything's straight. When you're working jerk baits like this, big jerk baits, catching big fish, they're rolling, twisting, it's always good to just double check your line, make sure there's no frays in it. I'll say that this 8-pound P line has been real good to me. I've actually had this on here, the same exact spool of line on here for probably about 1.5 years now. Haven't lost much of it, hasn't had to change it out. Been real good, real strong, holds up to abrasions pretty good. But it's real important that whatever bait you have, something that's getting down there a little deeper for this strong running water. This bait dives 7 to 9 feet. This one also has a nice sporadic motion. You can walk the dog with it, just like a Zara spook. But you want those big sporadic motions. Right now I'm just really trying to target these brown trout, so I'm just gonna keep that moving the whole time. If I was looking to try to target some rainbows, they tend to like the jerkbait with about a 2 or 3 second pause in between your action. And if you're really just trying to catch bigger numbers, add a pause in there. I really like to make sure I get that bait moving as soon as it hits the water off the bluff, real quick. If there's anything setting right there on that spot, try to get their attention fast. Moss is still silly. It's a lot of moss. Yeah, this can also be a lot of work on the trolling motor side of things. As you go down a bluff, if it's a nice straight shot, you don't have a lot to worry about. But as that bluff starts to turn, it'll start pulling you in, and you've got to constantly stay on top of your trolling motor, work yourself back out. There's a lot of different colors I could have used. However, rainbow is probably one of my favorite go-tos. Still got a little bit of shade left here. Starting to, oh man, that didn't feel like that for too long. Starting to disappear, but I mean, the shade's not 100% necessary. I just think that, especially with the water temperatures the way they are, those fish are probably favoring areas with shade. Anytime I see an eddy on a bluff swirling back the opposite direction of the current, I always try to cast that direction, because I know that eddy water is going to pull my bait that way and the current's going to push the line that way. So to get the most time in the pocket, in the eddy pocket. Oh my gosh, that ball of moss is as big as my jerk bait. Okay. The wind is starting to play a factor here. That's not going to help me keep my drift going the way I want it to. And that's that first brown I caught. That's the third stalker size brown I've seen in the last week. The other two were at nighttime, but I would definitely say that sometime recently they put some new browns in the lake. Oh, there's a good shady spot. Come on. The other key component to coming out here and throwing jerk baits is really that they suspend. The suspension kind of makes it look more lifelike. If you have to pause the bait for any amount of time and it either floats or sinks too fast, I feel like it turns the fish off. Ooh, man, that felt like a fish. I think I caught a stump. The water's not running terribly fast, so I'm going to attempt to go get that one back. Oh yeah, right on the outside of the stump. Got it. I always use a size 12 snap swivel whenever I throw the jerk baits. As you pull and crank on those things, they can twist your line. That snap swivel not only frees up some movement in the bait, allows it to kind of go back and forth a little better, but it also helps prevent line twists. It doesn't stop it. Over time, eventually that line's going to get twisted if you're not taking the time to untwist it. But that snap swivel will definitely make the space between those times longer. Gosh, that's at least a 25-inch thing of moss there. Oh, messy, messy, messy. Oh, be careful whenever you're doing this. If you smack your rod on the side of the boat too hard, it will put a fracture in it, and eventually that fracture will break the rod, and usually in the worst timing, like reeling in a big fish. The rod I'm using today is a custom built rod. However, like the rod I used before, I had this one was the Laser SG 6-foot medium with a fast action, and that seems to do the trick for working these jerk baits out here. I think the fast action part's kind of important. Helps you deliver that action on that bait a little easier. We're getting to that point in the bluff what I was talking about with the bend is beginning to push me. Woo! Or pull me in, I should say. You know, I'm still picking up a decent amount of moss doing this method right now, but for as much as in the water, if I was trying to drag something on the bottom right now, I'd probably be picking up a lot more. So not a bad thing to try whenever there's a ton of stuff in the water. It kind of, as you pull on it that fast, kind of cuts through some of it, doesn't allow it to get stuck on the lure. It's a really good workout if you want to get your cardio done while you're fishing. This is a great method. If you're doing this properly, you should be pretty well worn out after a good 15 minutes of it straight. I always try to keep myself close enough to cast and hit the bank, but when I am setting farther out, I don't always work the bait back to the boat. I'll do about from the bank halfway to the boat, and then I'll just reel it back in and get in there again. A lot of those fish are chasing it off the bluff. We're getting ready to get a rainstorm, according to the weather app. And there's definitely some dark clouds forming up there by the dam. I could see them whenever I was up by Fall Creek. It's supposed to rain for the next 3 or 4 hours, I think. I'm leaving, in order to get that action on that bait like I want it, I'm leaving just a little bit of slack in the line. It's called loose line slapping. And it helps get that walk the dog action. Oh, fishing for squirrels again. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, when they go from being off all day to 3 units immediately, it really turns some goop up in the water. Come on, come off of there. But don't stick strictly to the bluff. Like in this section right here where we're at, I've caught multiple browns over on the opposite side across from us in between these docks. And down by Short Creek, there seems to always be at least one big brown down there chasing creek chubs and small rainbows in the evening a lot of the time. So fishing out in the middle on the flat by Short Creek can also be fruitful if you're looking for one of those elusive browns. Goodness gracious. Pulling up everything. The grass, the moss, and the leaves all in the same cast. Yeah. Yep, I'd say that there's a good amount of stuff, this moss catching up to down here now. It's kind of hindering my ability to fish here. Oh man, I almost caught a squirrel again. Oh, that was a hit. Oh no. So if you ever do get a hit, don't do what I just did. I paused. A lot of the time, if it's an aggressive fish, they will come after it again if you keep it moving. If you let it set, they'll usually swim away. But if they hit it and don't get a good taste for the hook, and you can keep it moving, they might just come back for it again. Well, guys, I'm gonna do one more cast. We're gonna call it a day. I gotta get back and upload this video. Come on. And other than that last bite, I really haven't had a bite outside of the shade. So I think that those shady spots are playing a factor. There's a chance there could have been a lot more of those brown trout all sitting in that same shaded area, and I could have just kept repeating a drift in there and maybe pulled a few more out too. You never know. Alright, that's it. I'm tired. I'm worn out. Guys, if you're wanting to try to catch a bigger fish or catch one of those brown trout, and you get out here in these conditions, I suggest trying a jerk bait. So we thank you for watching today. Like and share us on Facebook, and we'll be out of here again tomorrow. Thanks, guys.